Hello my fellow coders, welcome back to Think and Code, and today we are going to build a logging system or a user management system. And to start with, let's register a user, John Doe, and for password we are going to give it John123. As you can see, we have successfully saved the data and created a user. And if I try to view our encrypted file, it says you must be logged in to view the encrypted files. So to log in, we're going to press 2 and log in. It will ask you for a username, so we are going to give it John Doe and a password John123. Log in successfully, welcome John Doe. And then we are going to display our username or user table. Before that, before displaying our user table, let's see our encrypted files. As you can see, this is how our user is saved. We cannot understand this, but if we want to see our users, we can do for. So this is how our users look if we decrypt those encrypted files. Now that is how we're going to build this whole user management system, and if we stop this, we'll get something like our users.txt. And as you can see, it's saved this way. Our user has been saved like this. So people cannot really view what our users look like. So that is a security thing. So this time around, since the code is very long, what we are going to do is I'm going to speed run through a single function and then I'll explain how this works. That way it will be easier and faster because I don't want to make the video too long. So let's get started with the code. Like usual, we'll start with main function. So as you can see, we built the main function, and this time around we built something different. So usually we do this and just this. And this time around we have put this inside try except block. This is the error handling we recently learned in the last video, where we are trying to access the menu with the numbers, but sometimes user can give other values other than int. So for that, we have value error, so our code does not break. An exception is for any unexpected errors that we might get other than value error. So that way we can print those errors as well. So let's get started with first just writing down all the names of the functions we are going to use. So as you can see, I wrote all the names of the functions we are going to use. So now what we're going to do is we're going to import everything we'll need for this specific project, the modules we are going to use. This is for encryption and decryption. And next, OS is for creating a file and such. And JSON is to read and add data. Next, what we need is a file. So for file name equals to users.txt. And for current user, to check if the user is logged in, we're going to set it to none for now, but this will be tracking our login users. So let's get started with the registration. So let's start with users equal to load users function. And you might say we don't have that function right now, so we are going to build it. So for utilities function, we are going to start with def load users. As you can see, we built the function load user functions, but the problem is we don't have two functions like encrypt data or decrypt data. To do that, we're going to build two different functions. So let's start with encrypt. So this is how we are going to use base64 and b64 encode to encode our text, and this is the text we could get from here from the JSON dump. So next we are going to build a decrypt data, but not text here. Now we'll say encrypted text here, and for this we need to write a little longer code. And so as you can see, we put this inside a try except method. So if we run into some error, we don't stop the program. So next, after we are done with this, we have completed the encryption and decryption part of the project. So next, we are going to move on to continue with register. We checked if the user is already in the username. If the username is already exists in the users, we are going to, in the users here, we are going to print username already registered, and else we are going to continue with the passport. Then we are going to do users, username, and then we are going to do equals to password. This will make a key value pair, and then we are going to do save users as users. And if we run into some problem, we are going to do exception as error, print registration error as error. And now we have a save users function, right? So save user functions, we are going to build it in the utilities function, right? And these are the main functions. Yeah, save users. So we have the data saved function ready. Now our whole registration function is ready. So I hope this is not very hard to understand. The try except block is something we already used, and you know what this does. And I wrote registration error here, saving error and loading error because it will help us debug later on. We'll know exactly where the error was caused, and we can just go to that function and actually fix it. So, and this is to check if the user is already there or not, to create a unique user every time. So now let's move on to our login function. Since we have built both the load users and the save user utility function, encryption and decryption as well, I don't think we need any more utility functions. So let's start. Let's go fast. This is the code we are going to use. As you can see, the login is we took the current user from the global variable that we had here, none, and then we used users to load users into users. Then we used try and except block to find any error, and again login error for easy debugging purposes. And then we asked the user for their username and password and checked if username is in the users, if the username belongs to the users, and then if it does, then check if the password, the username's password, is the same password as given. And then if it is, let's print successfully logged in, and we'll set the current user to username. As you can see here, current user is none, and here we set it to our actual user. And else, if it is not, if the both of this are not true, will say invalid username or password, and then we throw an error with login error. Now moving on to view our encrypted file, it's a really easy one. Now, as you can see, we did this. If we checked if we have a current user or not, if it is set on none, we'll say, please log in, you must be logged in to view the encrypted file. Else, if we have a current user, then we can show them the encrypted file data. Now, moving forward, what we're going to do is display our user table. Before that, let's do logout because that's a lot easier. So as you can see, we took the global variable current user, then we put it inside a try except method. We checked if the current user is none. If it is none, then we'll show like no current user is currently logged in. But if we do have a current user, then we'll show a message that the current user has been logged out, and then we'll set the current user to none. And if we run into some problem, we'll just handle it with logout error. And now finally the display users table. So this is going to be a long one. So this is our code. First, let me explain this one, the table view. So we got the users from the load users, right? From right here, we got the users. We have already decrypted the users data, so we do not need to decrypt it again. So we have that, and then this are just the basic formatting to make it look pretty. So that's all these are. We use the user items because it's a JSON, so we use that, and then we got the username and the password for it, and then we printed the username and password, and below 20 characters only. So yeah, that is how we do the display users. So let me just pretty it up for a minute, and then we can check if it works. Now that we are done with this, I have labeled each of the functions appropriately, so later on it will be easier to debug. So let's run it. So as you can see, we got our main menu, and if we register in the code fresh YouTube, I am writing a long username because I want to see if the less than 20 works or not. So what we're going to do is think 123 data saved. Let's log in. Think 123 logged in successfully. Let's view our data. 3 encrypted. Yes, we got the encrypted. Let's view the user table. Okay, so it did not work. And as you can see, we have our previous user as well, John and John123. So I hope you can fix this bug because mine did not work. So I think you can fix this bug. I'm not going to fix it in this video because it's just a printing issue here. So you should fix that bug. You should know exactly where this bug is, and you should definitely be able to fix it. So also, if we have to check something like y, you can see, please enter your number. If in our previous times, if we had written y, where it takes int as an input, it would have definitely crashed. So now it does not crash. It will just tell you that this is error handling. So let's do something like logout now. Logout. Okay, so logout is done. We can do something else. Exit. Yes. So let's rerun this and let's try something different. Let's say we'll just log in as a user that does not exist. Zane Smith, Zane123. Okay, invalid username or password. As you can see, it's secure, right? If we try to view our user files without, you must be logged in to view the user file. So that is it for today. I hope you liked the video. If you haven't yet looked at the playlist, you should definitely check it out. It's in the screen right here. And please do subscribe. It helps me out a lot, motivates me a lot to keep making videos like this. And comment down below on what kind of other projects we should work on next.